And you've mentioned before that there are some young Muslim girls who will cover when their mothers and grandmothers did not.
Yeah.
Are some Muslim communities responding to change modernity by becoming more traditional, more conservative? Where do you see that?
There's a great change that's happening globally.
Yeah.
I mean, 1/4 of the planet is Muslim, and I look at that in a very real way. I'm not an anthropologist, I'm not a sociologist, but my goodness, if you are looking at the planet and you're looking at 1.6 billion people, and 1 billion of those people are under the age of 30, and they're dealing with an identity crisis, and part of that is about how they think about themselves, how they look, how they dress, how they eat, how they pray. What I'm seeing with girls and women who are part of that demographic is really interesting to me. On one level, exactly what you said. Some are wanting to show their, quote, Muslimness, unquote, out loud. And that happens in a lot of different ways. It can go in a direction that I have seen that's been uber feminist. I mean, they are talking about things, they're rereading scripture, they're reinterpreting how things are. They're very progressive and very in your face about what it means to be a modern Muslim woman. They talk about the diversity of Islam. They talk about why a Muslim in Malaysia may look different than a Muslim in Norway or a Muslim in Uganda who's female, and what does that all mean, and what does the heritage have to do with it, and what do local traditions have to do with it. I've also seen a very informed change that's also happened with young women who really look at it from a stylistic point of view. I call it the halalization of what's happened, that they are uncomfortable with their local traditions, that they have accepted foreign interpretations of how they must dress and how they must be as the right thing to do. So they're rejecting what their grandmothers did, they're rejecting what their mothers did, and they're dressing in a very uniform kind of way. And so it's a bizarre thing to be in countries all over the world in which everybody all of a sudden is taking on the persona of a Gulf-style Arab dress and rejecting their traditional heritage in terms of the way in which they were dressed before, because through social media, through the impact of external forces, these young people think it's the right thing to do, and they've been doing it wrong all along.
Sure.
And so how do you navigate both of those extremes? A very, very different kind of conversation needs to happen around identity for these young women.